professional we are. This is this is the level. Ну що, туди, да? Okay. You ready, Alan? Let's go. I don't know how to start it because I think there will be no beginning of me saying hello, hello, hello. So I'll just
But we
improvise.
can say hello and then you cut it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oops.
Okay. So, поехали, да?
Just ask your first question.
Yeah. Опа. Все, да, все. Все. Ладно, банально. Alan, добрий день.
Добрий день. Hello.
It's great to have you here, and
Thank
I
you.
suggest we start straight from now. So the first question I want to ask: you are a writer, a poet, a creative person. How did you become a poet?
I don't know if you become a poet. You are born a poet. Well, I have always been creative. As a child, I was drawing all the time, comics, for example. And at the age of 15, 16, I started to write love poetry. That's the age of falling in love, first time in your life, and so on. So I didn't become a poet, but there are periods in my life that I write poetry. For example, when I was then 25, 30 years old, I wrote again some poetry. Then again, I stopped a while. And since I'm 50 years old, I write more and more poetry. I publish it also. So I have now 10 books published. I think 5 of them, so half of them are poetry. And since my 50, I also perform. That I didn't do before. So now I'm writer, performer, singer, and I enjoy it very much.
What inspired you? Because you told that there were periods, so you wrote and you came, then you stopped, you came back. What inspired you in to do what you're doing?
I'm not a professional writer, so that means that I don't have to think all the time, what will I write next? I don't have to invent something because I have to write for my living, to earn money. No, so I'm a free person. I can do whatever I want. I have my job. So it means that I only work with drawings or with poetry or with stories when I need to do it, when there is a need, when I feel something happening around me that is so important emotionally that I have to do something with this because I cannot sleep, for example. And then texts come, ideas come, sometimes in the night. So in that period, I have always next to my bed paper and a pen, because if an idea comes at night and I don't write it down immediately, next morning I know that I had an idea, but I cannot remember anymore what idea. So, for example, of course, love or marriage, divorce, or inspiration, the death of some close people. For example, the son of my brother who died. Then I wrote a full album with poetry about this boy. And of course, what's happening in Ukraine touches me so much that also the poetry comes spontaneously. So I'm not waiting for an idea or for inspiration. The inspiration comes and then I take it, I get it.
When was the first time you wrote something about Ukraine?
Well, I think it was about 2015, 2016. On a book fair in Antwerpen, I bought a book about abandoned cities all over the world. And in that book, there was one story, 3 pages, about Pripyat. And of course, I knew about Chernobyl. That I knew. I was 24 years old when it happened. So I remember very well. I did my military service in Germany, so I remember very well what that happening. But I never heard about Pripyat. I have never realized that a complete city of 50,000 inhabitants was evacuated after 36 hours to be abandoned and stay abandoned for eternity. So that was a shock for me. I didn't know. And I found it so interesting that I started to look on internet to have more information about this beautiful new city of Pripyat, because it was built or opened in 1970 only, and only 16 years later it has been evacuated and abandoned. So it was a very beautiful city with all comfort for inhabitants. So I was really interested, and on internet I found a victim of Chernobyl who lived there and has been evacuated, and her name is Lyubov Sirota, and she is a poet and a writer too. So I was looking on internet, on social media, Facebook, I found her, I contacted her, and she answered. And we had a good conversation. And suddenly she asked me, why don't you come to Kiev? And for me, on that moment, it was a very strange question, because in Belgium, nobody goes to Ukraine on a holiday. It's not the first destination to have a vacation. But I was looking on internet. I found Kiev and many nice pictures, and many nice, interesting things, like old cathedrals, museum, okay, the river. I thought it's very, very touristic potential, that city. So I decided, yes, I will go to Kiev. And so I met Lyubov Sirota in her house in Ivankiv, so halfway between Kiev and Chernobyl. There she lives. And she lived then before the war. And yes, the idea, I had so much inspiration, so much documentation, that I have written 2 books about it. One poetry album, cream cheese, no, what is that? I forgot the name. Okay, maybe it comes back. One poetry album with my own drawings, and it has been translated into Ukrainian language and published in Chernivtsi by editor Publishing House 21. So it was a very nice experience for me. So already before the war, I was interested in Ukraine, in Ukrainian culture and poetry. And so that's how it happened.
When you went to Kiev and then to Ivankiv, did you go to Pripyat or?
No, I didn't enter the zone. I was just in front of the checkpoint Dityatki, where you can pass as tourist for one day. But I decided not to go because first, you found thousands of nice pictures on internet. So I didn't have to see it myself. I could find everything. And anyway, it is still dangerous there. So you have to follow the guide. You cannot go where you want. Don't walk in the grass. Don't touch animals, things like that. So I decided to meet people. For me, the true stories of living people were more interesting than the stones of houses. And of course, I was there 1 week. So half week I spent with victims. I visited an organization, a volunteer organization for victims of Pripyat in Kiev. And half other week I was tourist and visited nice places in Kiev.
Okay. When you came back from Ukraine, did you have a thought that you were going to go there the second time? Like, did you want to go there the second time?
Now I would like to go back after war, yes. And I would like to visit other places like Odessa or Lviv. I understand that these are also very nice places. And indeed, I would like to see my friends back. I have still contact with my friends there, with these victims and with other people in the meantime I met. So yes, I have the intention to go back to Ukraine as soon as possible. Maybe to visit families of my friends, refugees I have here. When they go back, I would like to visit them in Kharkiv or in Chernihiv, yes, of course.
Okay.
Anyway, I could recommend Kiev to Belgian tourists because it is a very, very beautiful place, a very nice place.
That's very nice to hear. That's very nice.
And
to
I
hear.
like cities and I like culture. And there you have everything. You have museums, you have the university, you have restaurants, you have everything.
Let's now move to the part where you met Lena, which was more than 3 years ago,
Yeah,
3.5.
yeah.
Let's say. What was the first impression when you saw her, when you spoke with her the first time?
So on the moment I met her, I was already writing war poems, and I had already interviewed 2-3 persons,
From Ukraine.
Ukrainian refugees in
Okay.
Belgium.
Mhm.
Why? On that moment, I wanted to meet these refugees to have more direct information and inspiration for my poetry. So there was an Ukrainian evening in my hometown, Dilbeek, near Brussels. So of course I had to be there. I saw it in the paper, so I had to be there. And there was a concert of Lena Ivanova and her husband, Victor. So I listened to the music, and my first impression was, well, 2 things. She was very, how can I say it? She was fighting for Ukraine. You felt the love for her country, and she was a little bit angry on this war, and you felt this energy. But second thing that was remarkable for me was her optimism. So she sang her song Optimist, but also an English classic, Don't Worry, Be Happy. So I was very shocked on that moment, 3 months after the beginning of the war. So this family left their home, they lost their job, or here in a strange country with another language, another administration. And she was telling us to be optimist. And we in Belgium, so many people all the time complaining about everything. And this person who lost everything, she told us, don't worry, be happy. That was amazing.
And now that you have spent 3 years, almost more than 3 years, working with her, I think you have more than 5 songs together. Or
Yeah, so something like that.
something
Yes.
like that.
So together, that means I think I have now translated more or less five songs. So we sing this together, and I also learned already to sing 3, 4, 5 songs in Ukrainian. Yes.
What?
But maybe I can
Yeah.
tell you some funny event
Yes.
that evening on that concert. So when the concert finished, my wife said to me, "Don't you want to talk to that singer?" And I looked on my watch. It was after 10 o'clock, and I had to work in the day after. And I said, well, no, it's late. I want to go home and go to sleep, go to bed. So we finished our drinks, and we said goodbye to our friends. And on that moment, another woman, knocked on my shoulder and said, Alan, you should talk to that woman. And there stood Lena Ivanova. And I said, what will I say? I'm not prepared. What can I say now in 2-3 minutes? I was a little bit embarrassed, but no worries. Lena loves to talk, and she immediately started to tell her story. And I said, "Calm down. Wait a minute. I love to hear your story, but in a comfortable condition, not here now. So let's meet again. Let's make an appointment, and you can tell me your story. I will write it down. We go to cafe, restaurant, like you wish." And so only 1 week later we did, and then I knew. After this second meeting, I knew we will meet again. This is not finished. Because then already she asked me, she saw that I was a writer, because as a present, I gave her my books about Chernobyl. And she said, oh, and a book in Ukrainian language. It's my first Ukrainian book here in Belgium. Nice. So she said, if you're a writer and a poet, maybe you can translate my songs. And she gave me one text, Voice of My Heart. I said, okay, let's make a deal. I translate for you your poems, your songs, but you will put my poems on music. And I gave her Romashko, Madelief. And so that's how it started.
Wow. Well, that's an amazing story. So like,
that's why I say it had to be destiny, fate. We had to meet. Because if that other woman who knew that I was interested in Ukraine didn't bring Lena to me that evening, maybe we would never have met again.
Now that you have worked more than 3 years
Yeah.
with Lena, what kind of person is she?
But I already said she's very optimistic and very positive, and that's something I love very much. I try to be maybe not too much optimist, but I want to be positive too in life. So look at the things in a positive way. She has a lot of energy. It's amazing what she does and how little she sleeps, for example, with her family, with 3 children. And she has a lot of talent, of course, because she's not only a musician, singer, composer, poet. You know, she also paints in the traditional style of what is the name? Petrikivka?
Petrikivski Rospas.
Yeah. So she does that. These paintings of flowers in a traditional way. She can do this. So she has so much talent. She's very funny, a little bit crazy. But artists have to be crazy, a little bit crazy. If you are too serious, you cannot be an artist. So she's funny. She's a little bit crazy, and that's our capacities. I like very much. I love very much.
Perfect. Alan, I think this is the end of the part with you. Maybe there is something you want to say that maybe is interesting and should be put into the video.
But we will, I suppose, come back to it with Lena.
Yeah.
Since that day, 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago, we start to perform together, have concerts together. And so, for example, the last year, since November last year, now we have a concert every month. And it's very interesting to do that because we do always something different. Always, we change always something in the playlist. We do poetry, we do music, Netherlands, Ukrainian. So I really love to continue that. We make videos, and our dream is to make a record one day. Because if you have a record, we can send it to cafes, to radio stations, to festivals, and then maybe she can have more important concerts. Because now most of the concerts are charity events for Ukrainian people, but she should pass to a real music scene in Belgium and play for Belgian people. She has this talent. Her music is good enough. Even if you don't understand all the words, it is good enough to be popular in Belgium. It's really good pop music that she makes. And I think people here can be very interested in her art.
Perfect. Alan, thank you very much for the part.
I thank you.
And yes. Все, там не будет конца,